Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Welcome. The start of one final day. The two best teams in the competition, 6 times champions Australia take on 4 times champions England for one final time to determine what the 11th title they will be chasing out of 12. It's not exactly a competition of the two heavyweights in women's cricket. It's actually the competition between the two most invested setups in women's cricket, the two most important structures that their countries have built over the years. It's not exactly that, oh, okay, we're just popping it out. It's that Australia, what they've invested in the last 8 years. It's England who have invested for multiple years now. And they are playing this particular tournament. I'm going to come to Dane, Niekerk and Britney Cooper soon. Dane, first starting you. I have just mentioned that it's not exactly the competition between the two most best sides of the competition, but the two most invested setups in women's cricket. Do you feel that is true? How exactly do you see this final heading up?
Yeah, look, good morning, everyone. I agree and I disagree maybe a little bit. I think the performances that both teams has put in this whole World Cup, it's the two deserved finalists, especially the way England came back, playing inevitably knockout matches for the last 5 games. So, they thoroughly deserve to be there, and how dominant Australia has been. So I think it is the two best sides at the World Cup that's there. Obviously, everybody rooted for maybe a new champion. I'm again biased that South Africa maybe didn't get there, but no, it is the two deserved sides when you look at their performances throughout the World Cup. And then, as you mentioned, yes, the investment that these countries has put into the women's games. They've got 2 of the best leagues, domestic leagues in the world, and it just comes down to investment and the more cricket the players play at a higher level, the better coaching that the players get, the better they get. And you could see the players that both from Australia and England side, the young players that came in, they look like they've been playing forever. It's not a big transition for them. It's a kind of smooth transition going into international cricket. So, and that comes down again, as you mentioned, investments.
So definitely, as we know that it's going to be a new day, old rivalry there, and the news from the middle is that England have won the toss and they've elected to bowl first. So Britney, of course, in a final game, it's a big game. Good to have runs on board. What do you make of this decision of Heather Knight?
I think that decision was made because of Australia, because I believe Australia is a better chasing side. So I think that's the reason why England decided to win the toss and bowl. But nothing surprise about the team that was chosen to play the game. So two of the best teams in the World Cup, and how England came back into this encounter, how to reach such a final. It just shows the character of the England team.
Definitely. And if you talk about the teams there, England is, of course, unchanged, and Australia have brought Annabelle Sutherland in place of Elise Perry, who is suffering from back spasms. So definitely these are the changes. But
No. The change is
Annabelle.
Perry.
Perry for Yeah, Perry for Annabelle Sutherland there. So of course that itself goes down as a positive for Australia as well, because we know what kind of a player Perry is, and of course we were having talks on that probably she's going to play the specialist batter role in today's match. But the kind of campaigns these both teams have had, Dane, as you rightly mentioned in the beginning as well, Australia on the trot, they won all their matches. England coming back. So the kind of campaigns that have pitted these two teams together in front of us in this big final, and how do you see that unfolding today? Because England know that they have won all their matches that were must win, and it's another one for that and for them. And Heather Knight also mentioned in the presser the same, that we've been playing knockout since the last 5 games now.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see, because I mean, sometimes a bit skeptical. It's a team that hasn't lost yet, and it's a team that's won 5 on the trot. So you kind of feel like when's it going to give? But again, it's testament to the teams. It's consistent. That's why they've won so many World Cups between all of them. I watched it the other day, where you see the flags of who won it. I was like, okay, well, come on, we need to change this somehow. But no, look, I think it's going to be a great encounter. I think the fact that Australia opted to play Perry just as a specialist bat means that they're not as comfortable, they're not as confident as I would think. Especially, no, I guess, don't know if I assume that the medical team won't risk anything crazy, but I just think, Annabelle is not that bad. She'll slot in maybe a bit lower down, because they still have a very strong top order. So just the fact that they play Perry with the experience, I think they might be, a bit wary for the English side. So again, I think it's going to be a great encounter. I said it's going to be battle of the batters. I do believe it. I think again it's a very anticipated World Cup final, and I think a lot of people is going to be at the edge of their seat.
The edge of their seat is what Dane says. The battle of the batters. Certainly, it's Australia batting first. We have the playing 11 there. One big change: Ellis Perry comes in as specialist bat for Annabelle Sutherland. Of course, deservedly so. McLennan says at the press conference, yeah, she has a decent average of about 50 with the bat, so she deserves to be there. Only as a batter, she can definitely play. They still have as many as 6 bowlers: Darcy Brown, Megan Shute, Alana King, Chess Janasen, Ash Gardner, Talia McGrath. So they have decently 6 bowlers who can bowl their 10 overs. For England, there's no change. The Centurion, Daniel White, is opening with Tammy Beaumont. There's Heather Knight, Natalie Sever, Amy Jones, Sophia Dunkley, Brunt, Eccleston, Cross, Dean, Davis. No, it's not Davis. Anya Shrubsole is in that 11. So yeah, that's the those are the 2 11s for England and Australia. Not a lot of change expected. Perry coming back for Sutherland. Of course, they were going to do that. Not a lot of thought there. Let's come down to that Australia's batting. They've been clearly the most dominant side in the competition. Have won all their games. They would want to win this 9th one on a trot. Britney, do you feel law of averages comes in, or do you feel when it's Australian women's cricket team, there's no law of averages? It's just that it just goes one-sided.
Yeah, correct is right. A lot of people look at Australia as the unbeatable team. They look at the history of the team. As they said, the amount of World Cups, 50 over anti-20 World Cups they have won, and they spoke about their 11. Ellis Perry coming into the 11 now. But as Dan is saying, it could be that they are not as confident as they should be, and they want to lengthen the baton a little more. But it's not going to be an easy final. Really feel that probably England have an edge over Australia right now. As Dan is saying, it's been knockout after knockout, and they've been on the edge. They've been in this position more than Australia in this competition. So it's like final after final. So it's not like it's something new to them right now to be in a situation or a game like this.
Definitely. Dane, coming to you, Perry in for Sutherland, specialist bat. Do you feel she deserves to play that final? She missed out on the T20 final, by the way.
Yeah, look, she does 100%. I mean, it's Liz Perry, long servant of the game, legend within her own right as well. So absolutely, I think she would have been gutted to miss the T20 final and the semi-final. I've played a lot of cricket with her, and she's a competitor, and I'm sure she wanted to play as well. I'm sure she probably asked the medical side to really be, I guess, lenient. But yeah, I think she does deserve it. If I say no, I'm going to be a crazy person anyway. So no, absolutely deserves it. She's played a massive role within that setup for the last how many years. Had some great performances in World Cup finals as well. And you can't write off a good player, can you? And yeah, absolutely deserves to be back in the final.
Of course, and we are all excited to watch Perry back in the setup. But if you're talking about Australia's batting unit, the top order has given 76% of the runs in this World Cup, and we know what kind of a depth they have in their batting. But of course, Brittany, if I come to you with this, Alisa Healy's innings in the semi-final game, it probably taught us a lot. She started slow. She did not think a lot about her strike rate, but then eventually geared up her innings. And Rachel Haynes there, the second highest run getter for the side. So the top order of Australia is daunting. They've already crossed 300 plus. So you think that this top order and the middle order with Beth Mooney and Meg Lannon haven't stepped anything wrong yet in this World Cup. So this batting unit and the top order for Australia have been instrumental in their success so far in this tournament.
And that's the thing. I think Australia batting line have been challenged many times in this competition, whether they be batting first or bowling. And the fact that they have chasing high total and they have chasing low total. They played day night. They played in day. They play when rain was falling. So they have faced all kind of different conditions in terms of preparing themselves to be in a finals like this. And instead, Haley, she wasn't scoring that runs in the tournament, but it just goes to show that the kind of batter she is. Sometimes you wish that we could always score runs on every innings, that we could score runs, but as I said, nothing happens before it's time. And that inning she played against in the semi-final show that sometimes it takes longer for some batters or even bowlers to peak, and right now in both teams, both batters and bowlers are peaking at the right time.
And of course, as we talk about the batting unit, we've known that the skipper Meg Lannon has also looked in good form, Dane. And if we talk about her, the transition of Australia since the semi-final 2017 that they lost, she's also probably the one person who was hurt the most. The 2016 loss in the T20 World Cup, the 2017 semi-final loss. And since then, we've seen Australia just go onwards and upwards from there. A big game today, and the skipper will have a lot of responsibility on her shoulders as well, has looked in tremendous form. Dane?
Yeah, no, look, she's yeah, she can bat, can she not? The stats speak for itself. Most centuries, she makes it look easy. She makes it look easy scoring centuries. So she's an incredible, I guess, batter, and yeah, she in some stages maybe carried their batting as well. At a time. And that's credit and testament to I guess the leader she is. She she always wants to score runs. She's almost like a Laura Wolford or vice versa. They want to score runs. They want to be out there scoring runs and doing the job for their country. So yeah, she's going to play a massive role, especially keeping that top order together. Got a little bit of firepower, and I think that's the beauty of the Australian batting lineup as well. They've got Rachel Haynes, that's quietly going about her business. I mean, she needs 5 runs to be the highest run getter, and we haven't really spoken about her that much. And also with Meg Lanning coming in there, she can consolidate, but she can also be aggressive. When I look at the South African game where she scored that century, where she she batted at 100+ strike rate. That's testing of a very good batter, and taking it quite deep. And yeah, but going down to what Britney said about the decision of England deciding to chase, that was for me crucial. I had a bit of a smile because it was like, England's not tactically, they've been very, very good, and trying, I think, putting Australia under pressure. They're very good chasing side, and maybe they don't know what a good score is, and England can maybe put them under pressure. So going back to Meg Lanning, yes, she's going to be crucial, especially trying to set a very good and I guess defendable total.
Defendable total. Let's come down to that England bowling. If it's whatever, the oldest member in the Australia side is at the top of her peak. She's the top run getter, Rachel Haynes. Maybe probably her last 50 over World Cup. It's one of the youngest members or two youngest members in that England side who are at the top of the wicket taking charts. It's 20 wickets for Eccleston. It's what, 11 wickets for Charlie Dean. She's in played all the games. The two spinners. Is it going to be that spin versus Australia's batting? I know the England pacers have also done decently well, but the spinners have taken most of the wickets. 31 wickets between the two of them in itself, and what? She's just 4 wickets away from breaking Lynn Filston's record of 23. So 23 wickets was Lynn Filston taking in a single edition in 1982. Sophie Eccleston is just 4 wickets away, and she can do it. She's got what, 4 or 5 3-wicket hauls in the competition. In itself, a huge thing. Britney, do you feel it's Eccleston's day? It's Eccleston's time. She started with 0 for 77 in the first game in the tournament. That was against Australia. But till the time the semi-finals come, she has a 6-wicket haul. She's what, 4 3-wicket hauls and a lot to her name. And she's just playing her first 50 over World Cup final.
Rightfully said that you're asking, I don't know if it's Eccleston time, but even before this World Cup, it was her time. She been bowling so well, in the past series, in the past, let me say, 3 to 4 years, and the fact to break our record at a World Cup at such a young age just shows that she have so much to look forward to, so much to give back to cricket. Yes. I was actually at training today and heard some of our under 19 girls talking about this finals and the bowlers to look out to, and they were speaking highly of Sophie, and that's just the impact she's making, not even only in England but just around the world. She have a lot of young players who are looking up to her, who are not that she's not too old than that. They say, okay, if Eccleston could do it at this age, why not me? And that she just see, it's great to see that she's making a legacy for herself.
For herself, Dane, your thoughts on Sophie Eccleston? You've played a lot against her. Do you feel it's time Sophie Eccleston shows to the world what that young lady is able to do? She missed out on the 2017 World Cup because of her parents and whatever things happened at her university. This is a final time. This is the time she's going to play her first 50 over World Cup final.
Yeah, look, she's a competitor, is she not? We saw in the semi-final, her and Stefan Ismail having a go at each other. I certainly have had a go at her, vice versa. But yeah, that's again, she's such a competitor. She wants to get in there. She wants to get into the fight, and she's only 22. People forget that as well. And it's the Cricket World Cup 2022, and you've got a Laura Wolford and a Sophie Eccleston, at the top of everything, and the both of them are 22. So I don't know if there's something weird going on, but no, she's a very good bowler, and I always say when a spinner comes in and turns the ball at pace, it's very difficult, especially women's cricket that's maybe a bit more used to, I guess, slower pace bowling. It's really hard to adjust, especially using your feet. A lot of players are very comfortable using their feet because it's a bit slow and it gets tossed up. But she doesn't really toss it up. It comes in darts at you. So the turn and bounce she extracted in the previous game as well. So it's almost like you can't even play as a ball, as a spinner that just bowls it in with an angle type of thing. It actually bounces and turns as well. So yeah, she's coming into her own definitely, 4 wickets away from setting a record. But I think she must already be proud of what she's achieved. In her first, I guess, World Cup campaign. Unfortunately she missed out, but I always believe that things happen for a reason, and maybe that wasn't her time. And the next World Cup she comes in and she's the leading wicket taker. She was my pick for taking the most wickets in the World Cup, and she's definitely not disappointing at the moment. And again, just going back to the Australian batters love using their feet. So it's going to be a great contest to see how they're going to go about facing Sophie Ecclestone. She was a bit quick in the Ashes. They actually commented on that as well, the Australian team, and said she was a bit quick. She wasn't as successful in the Ashes. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. She's obviously sky high on confidence. Aussie batters are sky high on confidence, so it's going to be a great battle.
Of course, she would be proud of whatever she's achieved in this tournament because she already surpassed Jess Jonathan and is now the number one ODI ranked bowler there, Sophie Ecclestone. But just supporting her well in this tournament was Charlie Dean as well. We know that she didn't play the first two games, but the turnaround of England, as we talk about the turnaround of England in this tournament, they lost their 3 games and then won all their matches to make it to the finals. Charlie Dean has definitely played a big role there. And we have two left-handers in the Australian setup there with Rachel Haynes, with Beth Mooney there, Britney. Interesting to see that battle.
Yeah, you talk about England turnaround. I believe Charlie Dean has been England turnaround in this tournament. She's been the one to step up when the opening bowlers haven't been able to take wicket, and she has complimented Ecclestone a lot bowling in that middle over. And you rightfully said, two left-handers in Australia said, and it's two players who have been scoring a lot of runs for Australia. If push comes to shove, I do say that she might come in before to bowl before Ecclestone and try to keep down Rachel Haynes.
Definitely, and that would be interesting to see how it unfolds. But Anya Shrubsole, of course, the other big name there. During the South Africa game as well, we were discussing this, Dane. She was back in the side there. We were talking about her numbers against Lizelle Lee, but she gave you both those big wickets, Laura Wolfart and Lizelle Lee as well. A big match player, was the player of the match in 2017 ODI World Cup final as well. Experience is something you can't buy from a supermarket, and today England would have a lot of hopes pinned on her as well.
Yeah, so when the team sheets came on and I saw Fred Davies, I was like, what are they doing? So I'm glad you actually corrected that because I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, I cannot believe this. But no, there's no surprises that they picked Anya. She had a really good outing in the previous game. And, again, you can't buy experience, as you mentioned. She steps up in big games and she did so in the previous game. And yeah, it's players like these that want to do well in these big games. And she took a 6 for India were cruising, and then she came in and then she changed the game on its head. So, and I think that's what they would want from her in this game as well. Hopefully, she mimics something, the same as the 2017 World Cup. So, yeah, again, no surprises. You can't buy experience, can you?
People definitely cannot buy experiences. It's a lot of milestone day. The first one is Meg Lannon is playing her 100th ODI for Australia, and it couldn't be bigger than this World Cup final. There's a message from Belinda Clark, which is put by cricket.com.au. It seems like only yesterday that you walked out to open the batting for your first ODI versus England in Perth, and your 100th ODI will be a World Cup final. What an amazing 11 years. Can you believe that your opening partner in that match was the great Shelenitsky? So it is fitting that Shell, as a key member of your support staff, is on the sideline to support you 99 games later. You've shown a hunger to evolve your own game and then lead the team with great distinction. All the best for the finals. Go well. I want to ask about Meg Lannon, her involvement in those 100 games. She's never the captain of her state side even, and then was trusted that big chance of captaining Australia, and she's led decently well. Has what, 4 T20 World Cup trophies, no 50 over World Cup trophy yet to her captaincy name. But today is the day she can change it all. Her 100th ODI, so it's a milestone for her. Britney, do you feel it's Meg Lanning's day? She's just there to say that, oh, okay, 100 game, I don't really care. I have 4 T20 World Cup trophies. I just want to have a 50 over World Cup now. You're on mute, Britney.
Yeah, to top off your 100 game with winning a World Cup will be such a memorable moment. As you say, and they mightn't be thinking about that, but if it does happen, it will be something to save it for a lifetime. The message you said about where Debbie spoke to her, talking about her opening partnership when she made opening partner when she made her debut. That's a really, really long time. I think when Shirley was playing, I probably now came into playing cricket. So that's a lot of history. And just goes to show that, as you said, 4 World Cups, so there's plenty finals experience and in her as captain. So a chance for her to get another one in a bag.
Dane, do you feel that cabinet is just a little empty with that 50 over World Cup trophy? Meg Lanning will be like, oh, okay, it's another day for me, and I'll just take that trophy home.
Well, I'd be surprised if he thinks that way, because I think it's not going to be easy saying, "Oh, it's just another day, another trophy." Look, it's an incredible feat to be, to have so many World Cups, in your bag. But it's the elusive ODI World Cup trophy, and I don't think, I mean, they are professionals, and they want to win. They want to play cricket to win. So, I don't think the mentality is another day, another trophy, but I definitely think that they really want to win. After the 2017 heartbreak, you could see a massive turnaround with that side, and it just looked like they haven't left any stone unturned to chase this World Cup dream, and that shows you that they might not think that it's going to be easy, but they're definitely going to obviously give it a massive go. They have been very dominant, and I'm sure they want to continue the dominance in this game as well.
Dominance is the word for Meg Lanning. There are a lot of other milestones that we have on song today. Let's have a look at those. The entire slide can be played. Rachel Haynes, she's 28 short. The full slide. Rachel Haynes, she's just 28 short of beating Debbie Hockley's record of 456 runs from the 1997 edition. She's 5 short for Laura Bulbath's to become the top run getter, 28 short of becoming taking that all-time record. Meg Lanning has 50 runs short of taking that all-time record. So two of Australia's best are just a little short of taking that all-time record. Sophie Eccleston needs another 4 wickets, 3 wickets to equal Lynn Fulston's record of the most wickets in a single edition. If England win, England will become the first women's team in the 21st century to defend their World Cup crown. And is there anything else? No. That's all the records that we have for today. Will England be able to win? Will Rachel Haynes or Meg Lanning get that record? Will Sophie Eccleston get that record? Most of those news we'll get before the mid-show itself. Let's close down the show on one topic. I'm not going to ask who's the winner. I'm going to ask, what is Australia going to put up on board? Is it going to be a mighty 300 plus? What exactly is it going to be? Dane, what do you feel Australia is going to put that on board?
Oh, yes. The way they've been batting, they're definitely going to chase that 300 mark. That I promise you. But I'm just gonna be slightly in the middle. Say anything between 270 and 290. I reckon they're gonna try and chase that 300. I reckon. We saw with Australia's batting, they they're not timid. They really want to go at the bowlers. So yeah, I think 270, 290. It's a defendable score.
It's a defendable score, definitely, but I'm not sure whether Australia will be happy with that kind of a score. Britney, what's your thought? 270, 290, 300, 350?
I was actually saying 260. Yeah, I mean, it's a little tight, but right now you have to respect England bowlers. They are on top of their game. They are on top of the game. And in fact, you say, Anya and Charlie Dean, who will be bowling two left-handers with that ball going to waste, not going to be an easy task. And also England fielding has improved tremendously. So, 260. Let me win this one today, Danny, right? Yeah, let me take this one, right? 260.
It's brave, but yeah, why not? Mix it up.
I am not certainly sure whether Australia is going to be happy with the 260 kind of a mark. Whatever I can feel, I just feel somewhere it's going to be a 320 plus score. Let's see what that World Cup first innings Australia is going to put up. Yes, England has won the toss, elected to bowl first. Australia, Rachel Haynes and Alyssa Healy down there in the middle. Britney Cooper predicts 260. Dane, you can say somewhere between 270 and 290. Let's see what that score is going to come. We'll meet you at the mid show here on the Outside View.